last night was a symptom of one party greed and one party overreach.
Pro-lifers have a lot of work to do.
Big news this week in neighboring Ohio, where voters rejected a Republican-backed proposal that would have raised the bar for changing the Ohio Constitution to 60% instead of 50%. The defeat means a proposed amendment on the November ballot dealing with abortion rights will still need just a simple majority to preserve those rights. In a statement, Indiana House Minority Leader Phil Giaquinta said this decision was a win for Ohioans, a win for women, and a win for families in the Buckeye State. He said last summer our caucus fought to give the same power to Hoosiers. He said House Republicans rejected it. We caught up with Governor Holcomb on Thursday.
That's an issue that citizens can take up in their legislature, but I wouldn't confuse one state for another's process, and that's not Indiana's process. So we'll continue to operate under the process we have.
All right, still some legal limbo for the state's abortion ban. Lot to discuss as we bring in our panel right now. With us today, former state party chair for the Indiana Democrats, Robin Winston, and 2016 vice chair for the Indiana Trump campaign, Tony Samuel, along with UIndy political science professor Dr. Laura Wilson and Purdue political science professor Dr. Martin Sweet. So Martin, as we continue to wait on the legal limbo that our own abortion ban here faces, it's interesting to see politically the reaction to the Dobbs decision. In other states like Ohio, once a swing state, now a little bit more of a red state, but nonetheless voting against this measure in pretty big numbers last week. What does this tell you about the lingering effect of the Dobbs decision on the electorate ahead of 2024?
Well, this is really how Supreme Court decisions work, and that what they are mostly effective at doing is spurring the opposition, right? Roe versus Wade was probably the most important decision, not for abortion rights, but for Republican politics of the last 50 years. Now that Dobbs overturns Roe, we can expect the opposite to occur. It's going to motivate Democrats and has done so, including conservative states like Kansas as well.
Yeah, Laura, some here in Indiana have said, why don't we just put this issue on the ballot, as Ohio is going to do? You heard the governor's comments there, but it's worth noting, as Martin alluded to there, in every state, blue or red, that this issue's come up on the ballot so far. Voters have voted to maintain a woman's right to choose.
They have, and Ohio's kind of complicated because we saw it as a proxy vote for abortion, even though it was a question of changing the Constitution. But I think the real measure will be when it does come up, like in Ohio, for example, in November. That will be the policy issue. If it were to come up in Indiana, and I think you'll see that more and more, not just for voters, but for politicians that are going to be asked questions on the policy stance for abortion. For a long time, you had Roe versus Wade, and so it was somewhat of a moot point. You could ask and answer that question, but it didn't necessarily matter because that was the law of the land. Dobbs completely changed that, and I think we're seeing a change in the political landscape there, too.
Tony, with that vote in Ohio, do you see any warning signs here for Republicans ahead of 2024, not only on this issue specifically, but also with the former president's legal troubles? Senator Young, in our interview there earlier, saying that he thinks if Trump's the nominee, that President Biden will win a second term. What's your response to that, and are you concerned by the votes like the one we saw in Ohio this week?
Not really concerned, but I'll go back. I think I said this before on the show. Republicans have to get their messaging right. Now that they've won at the Supreme Court level, and they wanted it to go back to the states, now it's going back to the states. Now you see the kind of thing that's happening in Ohio, and it's going to be a little different from state to state. But Republicans have to not just sit back on their laurels. They have to now be aggressive, explain why the U.S. Supreme Court made the right decision and why it's good for Indiana. Republicans have not been doing a great job of messaging their points, and they need to do better.
Finally, Robin, your reaction to all of this and where your party stands here ahead of 2024, perhaps looking at some of these issues as a reason for optimism at the polls, but also now this news Friday, Hunter Biden facing a special counsel investigation, perhaps some concerns in your party about the impact of all of these court cases and the impact they may have on the vote in 2024.
Well, first off, the people of Ohio spoke. Sherrod Brown, it's fitting that you have him on. He was facing and still facing a tough re-election in 2024 against possibly Frank LaRose, who refuses to acknowledge that the thing lost. He blames all kind of reasons for it losing. Not only Kansas, don't forget Kentucky. Stood with a woman's right to choose whenever that was put on the ballot. As far as it relates to Hunter Biden, look, we have a special prosecutor appointed by the Democratic Attorney General. That is not sweeping anything under the rug. I never remember Donald Trump impaneling anything about January the 6th, ever, and he still had 14 days in office.
All right, meantime, we are talking about Donald Trump, the Republican primary, the first Republican debate, Laura. We're closing in on that now. You heard what Senator Young said earlier there about former President Trump. He's not going to support him in the primary. The question becomes what happens if he is the nominee. Where do Republicans like Young go then?
Well, he might be stuck, quite frankly. And actually, Young in that interview said he thinks that it's quite possible you might have another Biden administration, another 4 years there. I think it's a tricky position, but more and more as we hear is Trump versus Pence and other candidates versus Trump, it feels like a very similar time to 2016 where it's very divided in the Republican Party. And for the party itself, that's never going to be successful, right? That's always going to be a challenge that I think they'll have to address. Whether they address it in 2024 or if it takes longer to address, that's the challenge.
Trump still had a big lead in a lot of those primary polls. Martin, this is something all of the presidential candidates have to grapple with now. To be in that debate, as Mike Pence now is, the GOP requires candidates to sign a pledge, right, to support the eventual nominee, which could very well be former President Trump, though he himself has not signed that pledge and might not take part in the debates. Right.
It puts the candidates in a really difficult spot, right? The RNC has asked all of the prospective candidates to participate in all the debates. Trump still hasn't said whether he will. Remember, he skipped a debate back in 2016 in Iowa, and then he lost Iowa. We'll see how that plays out for him. And there are many candidates, just besides Pence, who don't want to support Donald Trump, right? Francis Suarez, Will Hurd. Yeah. So it's putting them all in a very difficult position.
Yeah. From Mike Pence here to Greg Pence, let's talk about the campaign for governor. Greg Pence, a potential running mate for Lieutenant Governor Suzanne Crouch. He said that she's asked him to be her running mate. Her campaign confirmed that was the case, but then this week told State Affairs Indiana that, quote, "It is not my right to choose a lieutenant governor nominee." What's particularly interesting about all this is the campaign being waged by former congressional candidate Micah Beckwith, who announced his candidacy for LG, kind of a rare move for someone to actually run for the position instead of being named to the ticket by the actual candidate for governor. Beckwith calling on Greg Pence to run for the office too. He's hoping to pressure delegates to place him on the ticket instead of whoever the party's nominee might choose. And Tony, it appears Crouch might be giving into that pressure a little bit here, saying, well, it's not necessarily her choice to pick a nominee. What do you think?
Well, there's a reason for the convention process and the delegate process. 1,800 delegates get to pick certain offices, and the lieutenant governor being one of them. I think it's very smart, and I've told Micah Beckwith this recently, because I remember back in 1996, a guy named George Whitwer did the same thing, and there's a conservative bloc in that delegation, and I think it's grown since then, and that's what Micah is going for. But this time around, we're going to win the governor's office, so it's even smarter that he's doing this.
History may be repeating itself here. Okay, thanks. Beckwith, by the way, has been in the news here lately. He's a member of the library board in Hamilton County, which was in the news this week. We're going to talk about that next. The latest controversy there with an Indiana author now weighing in on the removal of his books from the young author section. We'll talk about that right after the break. Stick around.